She's the nurse, Taguchi, and nurse Akude, and pharmacist Tajima.
Nurses, we talked a little bit about this before and how the profession has kind of progressed in the U.S. And I think there's many layers. There's one is how is nursing viewed in your culture? Is it equal to
their part in that conversation as well? We deal with arrogant people all the time, and actually Joyce and I were talking about this a bit before, that sometimes you have to adjust the way you communicate with someone based on what their personality is. So sometimes it's hard to...
The older doctor, and I'd just like to point out three things. First, arrogance visits people of all age. Second, you can't change an arrogant person's attitude. They are convinced they're right, and it may be because they feel insecure or whatever reason, but you will not change them.
And then we go on, I come and make rounds on the floor, and we all hold hands and dance awadari, together with the nurses, and everything's hunky-dory. We have some bad nurses, we have some bad doctors, we have some bad pharmacists. Everybody isn't perfect. I think some of what we're trying to say is find the people that you work well with. Are there nurses that it scares me when I know they're taking care of?
The best one to address the question, because I am from China originally, and I went to United States to get my postdoc training. So after I became a radiation oncologist in China, I decided to go to United States to get training in research. So I went there, and the chance is just so good that you have the freedom to choose your profession in a way, or choose what you want to do. For example, I was assigned to be radiation oncologist. I wanted to be a surgeon when I graduated from medical school, and the surgical chairman really wanted me to be a surgeon, but the hospital administrator says, no, you're going to be a radiation oncologist. So that's how I became a radiation oncologist. So when I went to the United States, one thing I sense is the freedom. In a way, the freedom not only is for the choice of profession, it's also in all aspects of the life. And that's really is a strength, and it's unique in the United States. I think that's why the United States and the hospital attracted the best person, excellent people, to the country and to the cancer center. In a way, M.D. Anderson is that way. You have your professional freedom, you have your academic freedom. You can choose what's your interest and develop into a very, very good program and a very good research system. And that has been my most rewarding experience in the United States and in M.D. Anderson. I think that's why a lot of people want to work there. In addition to that, we also get very good compensation too. So. And I understand it's very difficult for a foreign doctor to find a job in Japan. That's what I heard.
So, Larika.
The reason I moved to America was my parents moved me to America. But the reason my parents moved me to America was because of the opportunities for education for their children, so their children would have a better life. But the reason I went to M.D. Anderson, and I think it goes back to really what I wanted to achieve in my own professional goals or my career goals, And once I decided that I would go into oncology, I wanted to choose the best place that I could train to be a clinical oncology pharmacist. And after I finished my first residency, I had a couple of choices, because at the time there weren't many programs for clinical pharmacists to do residencies. And M.D. Anderson was one of those programs that I applied to, and fortunately was selected to enter. So I guess I based why I went to Anderson is because of the opportunities there for learning, because M.D. Anderson is so specialized that as a trainee, I was exposed to lots of different areas in a very short period of time. And that's what I needed to do professionally to figure out where I wanted to practice and how I wanted to practice. And also because my teachers, my mentors, I found people that were practicing and doing things the way I wanted to do that. So I think, you know, how I ended up at Anderson is because I decided what I wanted to do first professionally. I had a career goal, a professional goal for myself, where I wanted to end up, and that's why I went to M.D. Anderson. And it is an environment that allows you as a pharmacist to work at probably the highest level that a pharmacist can work. And that's only because of the support of administration, of the other pharmacists, of the physician group, of the nursing group. And I think we have a combination of that at Anderson that is just right, that it makes it a nice environment to work. And to fulfill your professional, well, at least for me, to fulfill my professional goals. And that's why I ended up there.
And it's still imperfect, but it's changing. And the forces that go against that are things such as the hierarchy of departments. So you have your department of surgery, and you have the department of radiology, and all these other departments. And those departments, you need to, they need
reality, and they take the team off track, and you end up talking about things that are not terribly relevant, and they upset the team and the whole thing. So we don't try to change people. You can't do that. All you can do is sort of open the door so people can say, I need to know more about that. My first book on the Myers-Briggs came from Dr. Theriault. He gave it to me as a gift.
He enjoyed all those innovative designs. So, but hopefully in Japan in a few years, and you will have this kind of infrastructure.
And stem therapy. So they have bad prognosis. Therefore, they can be done by radiation. They don't need dissection. So we plan this trial. For me, it's kind of trial. So how do you explain how pharmacists and nurses can involve? So this is very.
I think that you have the slide on the study requirements, and going along the same lines, you know, you said we have 3 pharmacists. So what is your job there? Because I know you know what your job is, but it wasn't quite explained in the presentation. And who are you going to be working with?
To give a chance to talk the other persons, but there is a cultural difference. In Japan, lots of people have different opinions, but they cannot so express their own opinions. So we should extract what they really think. And so maybe yesterday, some of the doctors